There's a quiet power in choosing yourself without apology, without explanation, but if putting yourself first didn't make you selfish, but magnetic. Dark feminine psychology isn't about being cold, it's about being intentional with your energy. It's knowing when to give, when to pull back, and when to walk away without guilt. In this video, we're unlocking the art of self-prioritization gracefully, confidently, and unapologetically. Because the moment you choose yourself, everything else starts to align differently. In a world that often conditions women to be agreeable, accommodating, and self-sacrificing, the idea of putting oneself first can feel almost rebellious. It can be misunderstood as selfishness, arrogance, or coldness. Yet, there exists a nuanced and powerful approach to self-prioritization that does not require hostility, disrespect, or cruelty. This approach is deeply rooted in what is often referred to as dark feminine psychology, a mindset that embraces self-awareness, emotional intelligence, boundaries, and quiet power. It is not about becoming harsh. Rather, it is about becoming unapologetically aligned with one's own needs, desires, and worth. At its core, the art of putting yourself first without being rude is about balance. It requires an understanding that kindness does not equate to self-neglect, and that asserting oneself does not necessitate aggression. Dark feminine psychology emphasizes subtlety over force, intention over reaction, and self-possession over external validation. It invites individuals, especially women, to reclaim their autonomy in a way that is both graceful and firm. One of the foundational principles of this mindset is self-awareness. Before one can put themselves first, they must understand what first truly means to them. This involves recognizing personal values, emotional triggers, desires, and boundaries. Without this clarity, attempts at self-prioritization can come across as inconsistent or reactive. A woman grounded in dark feminine energy takes time to observe herself. She reflects on what drains her and what nourishes her. She becomes attuned to her inner voice rather than being overly influenced by external expectations. This awareness naturally leads to the development of boundaries. Boundaries are often misunderstood as barriers that push people away, but in reality, they are structures that protect one's well-being. The art lies in communicating these boundaries without hostility. For instance, saying, "I won't be able to do that today," instead of over-explaining or apologizing excessively reflects confidence and clarity. Dark feminine psychology teaches that brevity can be powerful. There is no need to justify every decision when one is secure in their reasoning. A key aspect of setting boundaries without being rude is emotional regulation. Many people associate assertiveness with confrontation, but true power often lies in calmness. When emotions are controlled, responses become intentional rather than reactive. A woman who embodies this energy does not raise her voice to be heard. She lowers her tolerance for what disrespects her. She understands that silence, withdrawal, or a simple no can be more impactful than an emotional outburst. This controlled demeanor creates an aura of authority and self-respect. Another important dimension is detachment. Detachment does not mean indifference or lack of care. It means not allowing one's self-worth to be dictated by others' opinions or reactions. When you put yourself first, some people may perceive it as a change, especially if they were accustomed to your constant availability or compliance. Dark feminine psychology encourages acceptance of this discomfort. Not everyone will understand or appreciate your growth, and that is not your responsibility. By detaching from the need for approval, you free yourself to act in alignment with your own priorities. Equally significant is the concept of intentional communication. Words have power, and the way they are delivered can transform a potentially rude statement into one that is respectful yet firm. For example, instead of saying, "You're always taking advantage of me," one might say, "I need to focus on my own commitments right now." This shift removes blame and centers the message on personal needs. It reflects maturity and self-control, which are hallmarks of dark feminine energy. The art of putting yourself first also involves selective availability. Not every request, invitation, or demand deserves your time and energy. Being constantly accessible can diminish your value and lead to burnout. Dark feminine psychology teaches the importance of being discerning. This does not mean ignoring others or acting superior. It means recognizing that your time is a resource. When you choose where to invest it, you elevate its worth. People are more likely to respect someone who respects their own boundaries. Furthermore, there is an element of self-trust that underpins this entire approach. Doubt often leads to overcompensation, explaining too much, apologizing unnecessarily, or agreeing to things out of fear of disappointing others. When you trust yourself, these tendencies diminish. You understand that your needs are valid, and you do not require external validation to honor them. This quiet confidence is a defining trait of dark feminine psychology. It is not loud or attention-seeking. It is steady and unshakable. It is also important to address the role of empathy. Putting yourself first does not mean discarding others. In fact, empathy enhances the ability to assert oneself gracefully. By understanding others' perspectives, you can communicate in a way that minimizes unnecessary conflict. However, empathy should not come at the expense of self-respect. Dark feminine energy balances compassion with firmness, acknowledges others' emotions without becoming responsible for them. Another subtle yet powerful element is nonverbal communication. Body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions all contribute to how a message is perceived. Maintaining eye contact, speaking calmly, and holding a composed posture can reinforce your words without the need for harshness. This alignment between verbal and nonverbal cues creates a sense of authenticity and authority. It shows that you are not only stating your boundaries but embodying them. The journey toward mastering this art often requires unlearning deeply ingrained beliefs. Many people, particularly women, are conditioned to equate selflessness with virtue. While generosity and kindness are valuable, they should not lead to self-erasure. Dark feminine psychology challenges this narrative by redefining strength. It suggests that true strength lies in knowing when to give and when to withhold, when to engage and when to step back. There is also a transformative aspect to embracing this mindset. As you begin to put yourself first in a respectful manner, your relationships may shift. Some may grow stronger, rooted in mutual respect and understanding. Others may fade, especially those that relied on your lack of boundaries. This process can be uncomfortable, but it is ultimately liberating. It creates space for connections that align with your values and honor your individuality. Moreover, this approach fosters inner peace. Constantly prioritizing others at the expense of oneself often leads to resentment, exhaustion, and dissatisfaction. By contrast, honoring your own needs cultivates a sense of balance and fulfillment. You are no longer operating from a place of obligation, but from a place of choice. This shift in perspective enhances both personal well-being and the quality of interactions with others. It is worth noting that putting yourself first is not a one-time decision, but an ongoing practice. There will be moments of doubt, guilt, or pressure to revert to old patterns. Dark feminine psychology encourages persistence. It reminds you that growth is not linear and that each step towards self-respect reinforces your sense of identity. Over time, what once felt uncomfortable becomes natural. In essence, the art of putting yourself first without being rude is about embodying a quiet, confident authority over your own life. It is about recognizing that your needs matter and that honoring them does not diminish your kindness. Through self-awareness, boundaries, emotional regulation, detachment, intentional communication, and self-trust, you can navigate this balance with grace. Dark feminine psychology does not advocate for manipulation or coldness, as it is sometimes misinterpreted. Instead, it champions authenticity, discernment, and empowerment. It invites you to step into your power without losing your humanity. It teaches that you can be both kind and firm, compassionate and self-assured. Ultimately, putting yourself first is not about elevating yourself above others. It is about standing firmly within yourself. It is about creating a life that reflects your values, honors your energy, and respects your boundaries. When done with intention and awareness, it does not push people away, it attracts those who recognize and appreciate your strength. In a society that often rewards self-sacrifice, choosing yourself can feel radical. But it is in this choice that true empowerment lies. By mastering the art of self-prioritization without rudeness, you not only transform your own life, but also set a powerful example for others. You show that it is possible to be both strong and kind, assertive and respectful, independent and connected. And in that balance, you discover the essence of dark feminine psychology. A quiet, magnetic power that does not demand attention but naturally commands respect. As we close, remember, putting yourself first isn't cruelty, it's clarity. Arc feminine energy teaches you to protect your peace without apology or explanation. You don't need to shrink to be liked or overextend to be valued. Boundaries spoken softly can still be unbreakable. Honor your needs, choose yourself deliberately, and let that quiet power speak for you. This resonated? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and step deeper into your power. Next week's topic will be the art of emotional discipline.